Hey, welcome back to another video. As of right now, I'm sitting alone in a closet because I'm bored as crap. So I thought I'd make a video today. Today I'm going to be telling you about the time where I practically almost broke my neck because I was pushed by a person at Sky Zone. Okay, so where should I start? I'm going to start it like this. Okay, so basically, I was with my classroom. This is about the 5th grade last year, before I went to high school. It was in the middle school, before I went to middle school. And so basically for our 5th grade trip, we had 3 big trips that we took. We went on a big hike in some big old, like, garden forest bullcrap. I don't know what it was. The second one was Rolling Hills, which is like a massive water park, which everyone loved because it was like the 5th grade like big thing. And then we went to Sky Zone. Sky Zone was not the one I was most looking forward to. I was most hyped for the 5th grade camp hike and the other field trip. But Sky Zone was a big one because, come on, it's Sky Zone. Who don't like Sky Zone? It's Sky Zone. So I'm on the bus and I'm just hyped. I'm with my friend and we're just talking stupid. You know how 5th graders talk like they think they're the coolest in the world, but all they're really talking about is chewing gum and playing Pokemon. So yeah, I'm just on the bus chilling, and then we finally get there. And at first, things were just going great. We were getting it checked in. I got my socks, and I, for some reason, have the socks I have every pair of Sky Zone socks I ever gotten since the 5th grade. Even if they got holes in the bottom, because for frick's sake, those are some good socks. I love the grip. So I'm just like chilling, right? And when I get in, they're about to release us. They all got us like grouped up. They got freaking ropes around us trying to keep us from bolting off. And they're just like, all right, children, make sure your wristbands be back by 4. And this was fun because this field trip is special because it went out of the school day. So basically, we were going to be at this field trip for when school's out. We were going to be here for a while, so we were happy. And this was in the morning. I'm telling you, like freaking 9 o'clock to 9:30. And so we were about to have fun for about 5 hours, right? And then I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm just ready to jump, right? As soon as they give me my wristband, they let me out. They just said one at a time. But you know that's how it was supposed to go. I was set out one at a time, and I was waiting for my friend to get set out. But then the teacher was like, this taking too long. We're wasting too much of the time we paid for because we had to pay for this, right? It wasn't cheap, and they wanted us to jump. So they just started handing out the bands like rapid pace, one by one. And instead of just letting us go one by one, they would just gather up, give us all the wristbands at once, and then just let us go at once. So they called me back up because they have to keep track of all the kids, and our supervisors weren't out yet. And I'm just like, come on, I was just out. I was ready to go. And so about 5 more minutes go past. Everyone had the wristbands, right? And then they just let us go, just all at once. And you can imagine what a stampede of about 200 to 250 5th graders look like running inside of a Sky Zone ready to jump on every pad. And this was where things got this is where things got bad. Because at first, the first thing that happened was my sock was like, you know how you can step on a sock or like a sticky surface and your socks like slips, so like the bottom part of the sock's on the top. So basically that sticky part wasn't fully on the freaking bottom. I was slipping a tiny bit. So I'm just running. I don't really care. I'm just running trying to get to the freaking trampoline so I can secure one of those personal trampolines before everyone else takes them, right? And tell me why. I kid you not, 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. They open the thing, we go inside the trampoline, I secure my single trampoline, but you know how kids are, they all want a single one, and they were filled in within like 10 seconds, and I'm just jumping, but people still want to go in, because once they're filled, they cut everyone out, and they divert them, but there's still kids pushing inward, right? I'm not, I don't even know, but for real, I tell you, I didn't bounce even twice, I did one. And I was going to attempt a front flip, so I'd go up again, and when I'm in the middle of the air, I'm just soaring. I feel like I'm a bird. But instantly that dream went from flying like a bird to getting hit out the air with a baseball bat and stepped on like a freaking roach. I was literally pushed in midair, did a full-on front flip, side turn, bullcrap somersault, and you know how they divide the trampolines by section. There's like those little hard pads. My neck, you can imagine, my neck, you know what, let me insert meme here. My neck literally head first, neck first, whatever you call it, smacks onto the freaking bar, the barrier, right? And it was an instantaneous knockout. It was like someone punched me in the gut, super freaking sane style. Like they took my neck and just crushed it. I was like, ugh! And that's the noise I made. It was a straight up, and I was like, oh. And then immediately I realized that I'm in danger because I get up and my vision's blurry. And this is the first time, this was before I wore glasses. So you can imagine how scared I was not being able to see. And I'm just thinking to myself, I can't breathe. And I couldn't breathe. I got the wind knocked out of me, but I didn't know what the heck that was. I really thought my neck was broken and my windpipe got shifted or something, so I couldn't breathe. So I start stumbling. I couldn't even walk because I couldn't get enough air in my lungs to freaking breathe. And I'm like, oh, help. Like, I'm sounding like a freaking deflated balloon, bro. I'm dying slowly. So I stumble my way over. And my gym teacher, who was like the head of this field trip, looks at me. And he's getting ready to jump himself or supervise himself, right? And he's like, it hadn't even been 5 minutes. I walk over, and he's like, what's wrong? He sees me crying. He sees me holding my neck. He sees me limping. Like, oh, my God. His face, you should have seen his face. He was like, what the frick happened to you? You look like roadkill on the road, my guy. And I'm just thinking to myself, I can't breathe. And so basically I walk up to this dude, and he sets me down on the table. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I can't breathe. And then the teachers are all just scrambling toward me. They're trying to figure out what the frick just happened to me. They're like, what's wrong? He's like, he can't breathe. And he's like, he must have fell on his neck. What happened? I was like, I flipped on my neck. I'm like, what happened? I was like, someone pushed me. And they're just trying to think. They're like, what is he gonna die? Because they honestly thought something really was messed up. So they laid me down on the benches. You know those Sky Zone benches? They ain't comfortable. It's those hard metal things, cold. And then they set me down on the thing. And the first thing I feel, I had short hair at this time. The first thing I feel is that cold bench on my head. And it was like freaking Jack Frost had palmed my forehead. It was like, ugh. It was adding to the distress. So I'm angry at this point. I'm like, oh, the gym teacher's looking at me like I'm about to take a crap on myself. He's like, oh my God. He's like, dude, do you have to use the bathroom? I'm like, no. And so and then he fully realized that I hurt my neck, and he just starts touching my toes. And I didn't know why he was touching my toes because I had no idea how paralysis worked. He's like, can you feel this? I'm like, you're touching my toes. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, good. And every 5 minutes, a random teacher would go up and like tickle my toes. And you really think I want to be tickled when I'm freaking in pain? I don't want to laugh right now. Every time I laughed, it felt like freaking someone was jabbing my neck with a toothpick. I was like, stop. I can feel my toes. And I'm sitting there in complete distress. And the teachers know I'm in complete distress. And no one knows what to do at this point. And the gym teacher had already gone off. He was my favorite teacher, by the way. I really like this dude. He goes off, and he goes to a Sky Zone employee. He's like, hey, call the ambulance. A kid just hurt his neck. And I'm just in distress this whole time. My gym teacher comes back. He's just comforting me because he was a goat like that. He was the best teacher, right? And he sat with me for like 10 minutes, and then I could tell my teacher was getting kind of pissed off because, first of all, our Sky Zone is right across the street from a hospital. It's like a freaking 2-minute drive. And the ambulance hadn't arrived yet. And there's no way they wouldn't have arrived. And so after about another 5 minutes go by, he stands up. And this is the first time I ever heard my teacher curse. He's like, what the F is going on? Where is the ambulance? And then the Sky Zone employee comes up out of nowhere again. It's the same dude who he told to call earlier. And he's like, we didn't call yet because we didn't think it was an emergency. My teacher, first act of violence I ever seen in my life. My teacher grabs this man's neck like he's a freaking cartoon thin neck and pulls him over. He's like, call the ambulance. This kid is hurt. And then this Sky Zone dude's face, it went from flush red to freaking dead white, like someone had freaking sucked the soul out of his lips. He gets up off the ground after my teacher tossed him, goes over and calls the freaking ambulance. He grabs the phone. He's like shaking and stuff. He's like, I couldn't hear the conversation, but he said something. About 2 minutes, ambulance shows up. And this is where things got actually kind of scary because I never been picked up by an ambulance before. I didn't even know why the freaking ambulance was used other than to take people who were about to be dead away. And that's not really true, but that's what I thought. So I thought I was dying. And I'm like, oh, frick. Here we go. And so they come over, they pick me up, and like, where's I hurt? I'm like, my neck. And I know it sounds weird, but I literally said that. I said my neck. That's all they needed to know, and that's all I said. They pull out this big old collar thing. It's like it's a neck brace, right? And this thing looks scary as crap. And I've seen this in movies when people break their neck, or in freaking CIS or freaking Law and Order when someone's freaking really hurt in a car crash. So they put this thing around my neck, and the first thing I realized is that this thing is uncomfortable as crap, my guy. I tell you, that neck collar felt like freaking a cactus. It was prickling at the bottom of your chin, and you couldn't move your chin. And I guess that's the point. But it was like having a cast on your neck, and I've had a cast, and I don't like it. And so I used to complain a lot as a child, and the first thing I said to the ambulance dude when they're taking me, my neck hurts. They're like, we know, it's like my neck itches. We know. My neck itches really bad. We know we can't take it off. And before they put me in the car, my mom pulls up, and my mom's a nurse, and she's a very protective person. So you can imagine how she was feeling. And the first thing she says to me is, are you okay? How you feeling? And all that stuff, right? But I already could tell that she was really, really fuming right now because she had just been told that her child had injured his neck at a Sky Zone. What would you think, or what would you presume was going to happen? So we get to the hospital, right? And then they just put me in this room, and I sat there for a good 4 hours. And with that itchy neck collar, right? I sat there for a good 4 hours because I knew my neck wasn't broken because I'd be dead. And so they're like, He got a sprain on his neck. I'm thinking to myself, how the frick you sprain a neck? What the heck happened to me? And so they're like, it's okay. We're gonna let him sit here for a while. When he said that, my 5th grade stupid self was like, I don't want to sit here no more. My neck itches. And like, we can't really do anything about that because we can't reach down there, and we really don't know if your neck is really injured. And like, you just said it was sprained. And my mom just told me to be quiet at this point because I was talking too much, and my neck hurts when I talk. And so, basically, my dad finally got there, and my brothers did because school was out, and they took him out the field trip early. And I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, my God, my neck hurts. And they got real tired of hearing it because I kept saying it. I said my neck hurts that day about 84 times. My neck hurts, my neck hurts. And they're like, Joseph, we know your neck hurts. And then that was pretty much how the story ended. I got discharged from the hospital. They're like, your neck is fine. Just freaking don't do nothing stupid. Go take a nap. And that was pretty much how my story ended. To this day, I don't know who pushed me. The school presumably found out who pushed me, but they didn't say nothing about it because they were afraid that my parents would sue. And I'm pretty sure my parents would have sued. So they never told me or my parents who pushed me. Because Sky Zone, they got cameras all over that place monitoring children and seeing if there's a lawsuit or potential lawsuit happening, right? They never told us what happened. But my mom never really wanted to sue because we didn't get charged for the hospital. But yeah, that was the time where I practically almost broke my neck, and I thought I'd share it with you. Like and subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you in the next video.